straight right away. Your cat isn't just a piece of home decor or a fluffy stress ball with a built-in vibration feature. It is a flawless biological masterpiece. Evolution fine-tuned this predator to such perfection that it hasn't needed a design update in the last 10,000 years. While we humans were painfully growing our neocortex, inventing the wheel, and learning not to burn our hands in the fire, the ancestors of your little Fluffy were already dominating the scorching steppes of the Middle East. Their glorious success story began way back in the Neolithic era. That's when humanity made its biggest, most naive mistake. We transitioned to settled agriculture. Humans started stockpiling grain. That grain instantly attracted hordes of hungry mice. And those mice, in turn, attracted wild desert cats. Looking at this endless, squeaking buffet, the felines realized there was absolutely no point in fighting the noisy bipeds. It was much more profitable to domesticate us. This was civilization's very first brilliant step in outsourcing security. The contractors weren't paid with a boring salary, but with 24/7 access to food, warm shelter, and literal deification. And here's the real irony. We naively believe that we domesticated these animals. But the truth is, cats are the only creatures that manage to keep their independent status as semi-wild hunters, all while securing rent-free living in our bedrooms. They refuse to bend their genes to fit someone else's needs. Dogs turned into ridiculous pugs, dachshunds, and curly poodles just to please us. But a proud cat? It stayed a cat forever. The exact same titanium skeleton, the same primal instincts, the same cold-blooded thirst for violence. Only now, all this deadly magnificence is elegantly wrapped in silky fur and lives right inside your cozy. Genetically, your lazy house pet is practically identical to the ferocious wildcat that coldly slit the throats of rodents in ancient Mesopotamia. Just assume you have a tiny Mike Tyson living in your house. This heavyweight occasionally demands gentle scratches behind the ear, but is perfectly willing to knock you out at a moment's notice purely for sport. We willingly invited the perfect killer into our living space, handed them a veterinary passport, and let them sleep directly on our faces. And the funny part is, humans genuinely believe they are at the top of this apartment food chain. But cats logically chose the path of least resistance. Why spend days tracking prey in a frozen forest when you can just drop a silent, heavy stare on the human opening a can of tuna? It was the greatest rebranding campaign in the history of Earth. They transformed from a primal terror into the ultimate symbol of domestic comfort. But behind that cute, purring facade hides a ruthless machine that knows no mercy and feels absolutely no remorse. Cats are living proof of a harsh rule. If you are cute enough, humans will forgive you for literal serial murder. And that's just the tip of the fluffy iceberg. Their true power lies not in their reputation, but in the terrifying details of their anatomical superiority. Things we never even think about while mindlessly scratching their soft bellies. Why is a cat's physiology a weapon designer's nightmare and a true triumph of bionics? Your cat isn't just a pet. It's a furry F-22 Raptor. 65. If Elon Musk wanted to build the perfect killer drone, he would just copy feline anatomy. Let's break this biological machine down for parts. We'll start with the skeleton. Have you ever noticed how a cat can squeeze through gaps that even a mouse couldn't handle? It all comes down to their floating collarbones. This fluffy Terminator lacks a rigid connection between its shoulder girdle and the rest of its skeleton. From a strictly physical standpoint, cats are a liquid. If the head gets through, the rest of the body will simply pour in after it. This architecture allows them to warp through space while maintaining titanium rigidity upon impact. Now, let's look at the landing gear. Claws aren't just nails. They are a fully integrated hydraulic system paired with a highly delicate leverage mechanism. At rest, they are fully retracted into leather-like sheaths. The darkness. This is exactly what allows the predator to move in absolute silence, without that annoying clicking on the hardwood floor that dogs make. But the moment instinct kicks in, out shoot the stiletto claws, mathematically designed to sink into flesh and tear it apart. Let's move on to optics. The tapetum lucidum is a special mirror layer right behind the retina. It acts like an amplifier, bouncing residual light back onto the photoreceptors. That's why their eyes have that creepy glow in the dark, and why they need exactly 7 times less light than we do to target your heel under the blanket with absolute precision. Their hearing is a masterpiece of engineering. Each ear is controlled by 32 muscles, capable of rotating 180 degrees entirely independently of one another. A cat easily picks up the ultrasonic frequencies that rodents use to communicate. To them, your quiet house isn't a peaceful haven. It's a roaring metropolis where they can clearly hear a tiny spider crawling on the wallpaper in the next room. Whiskers, scientifically known as vibrissae, aren't some cosmetic accessory. They are a high-precision radar system. They register the slightest shifts in air currents, allowing the monster to navigate pitch-black darkness without even bothering to open its eyes. A cat's reaction time ranges from 40 to 70 milliseconds. Just to help you understand the scale of this gap, it takes a human 150 milliseconds just to blink. 65. While your brain is just forming the thought to pull your hand away, the beast has already struck you 3 times and elegantly returned to its starting stance. This is a supercomputer optimized for one single task: target acquisition and instant destruction. Even the tail isn't just there for looks. It is a highly complex built-in gyroscope that ensures perfect balance during the wildest aerodynamic maneuvers. If evolution had accidentally gifted cats with opposable thumbs, they would have cracked our safes long ago and flown off to colonize Mars. But they are doing just fine as they are. Because all of this massive computing and combat power is directed entirely toward dominating the enclosed space of your apartment. And yet, perfect hardware is only half the battle. This killing machine is running software that hacks the human psyche far more effectively than any computer virus. Have you ever wondered how these fluffy engineers use their built-in acoustic weapons to manipulate your brain right at the frequency level? Now for the best part, the software. Cats don't just live with us. They are conducting a massive psychological experiment on humanity. Have you ever wondered why cats meow? In the wild, adult felines almost never use this sound to communicate with each other. The meow is a custom user interface designed specifically for hacking humans. They analyze the range of our hearing and tuned into a frequency that perfectly mimics a crying baby. When your fluffy dictator starts screaming at 3 a.m., your brain doesn't just hear noise. It registers a distress signal that is biologically impossible to ignore. That is pure, unadulterated evolutionary gas. And then there's purring. We naively assume it's a sign of absolute feline bliss. But hard medical research shows that cats also purr under extreme stress and severe trauma. The frequency of their vibration ranges between 25 and 150 hertz. This is the exact physical range scientifically proven to promote tissue regeneration and bone healing. Essentially, your pet is a portable physical therapy device, shamelessly self-medicating at your expense. But these hardware tricks are just a warm. Let's talk about a biological weapon known as Toxoplasmosis. 65. This parasite can only reproduce in a cat's intestines. But to get there, it has to hijack a mouse's neural pathways, completely stripping away its fear and steering it right into the predator's jaws. Scientists seriously suspect this microscopic hacker affects humans in a strikingly similar way. It makes us more compliant, accommodating, and literally obsessed with our pets. We become willing hostages in our own homes. We gladly buy premium food, obediently clean litter boxes, and post photos of our overlord on social media, showering them with heart emojis. It's the perfect enslavement scheme. The cat is the only predator in Earth's history that managed to make its potential prey enthusiastically cater to it. They are geniuses of tactile marketing. When a cat affectionately rubs against your legs, it's not showing unconditional love. It is simply tagging you with its unique pheromones. In its cynical worldview, you are its legal property. A bipedal, walking refrigerator with a can-opening feature. You have to be reserved so that other whiskered rivals know this specific servant is already taken. This is a masterclass in emotional manipulation. We firmly believe we are the ones picking out a cat at the shelter. In reality, the cat scans the crowd and selects the most suitable maintenance station. And if you think your little furball is a rare exception and truly loves you, just remember what it does when you leave for work. It doesn't cry by the closed door. It simply switches into power-saving mode, waiting for the next resource drop. But this selfish survival strategy has a much darker side. One that extends far beyond your cozy kitchen and threatens the entire planet. How many animal species have these cute fluff balls wiped off the face of the earth in recent decades? While we melt over videos of funny kittens falling off couches, a real ecological thriller is unfolding right outside our windows. Let's look at the statistics that cat lovers try so hard to ignore. According to scientists, these creatures are directly responsible for the extinction of at least 63 species of birds, mammals, and reptiles worldwide. In the US alone, these whiskered hitmen take out up to 4 billion birds and nearly 20 billion small mammals every single year. This isn't hunting for survival. It's an instinctive purge of everything that dares to move. We are looking at the most successful invasive species in Earth's history, second only to humans. And when your beloved pet proudly drops a strangled mouse on your welcome mat, don't flatter yourself. It's not doing it out of love. Biologists have a sobering theory. Your cat just thinks you are a hopelessly incompetent hunter, completely incapable of catching your own dinner. The predator sighs heavily and delivers a masterclass, showing the amateur how it's done. We set them up with a resort lifestyle. We removed their natural enemies, provided an all-you-can-eat buffet, and handed them free health. And in return, they cold-bloodedly sharpened their killing skills on the local wildlife. Humanity has shipped this biological weapon to every corner of the globe. Remote islands have suffered the most, where cats annihilate entire ecosystems down to the very last creature. Appreciate the irony. Humanity spends colossal budgets on saving endangered species, while simultaneously pampering the very creatures actively driving them to extinction on plush pillows. 65. But the scariest part is their absolute sense of superiority. A cat will never look up to you like a loyal dog. In its eyes, you are an equal, at best. Most of the time, you are just an annoying obstacle standing between them and a warm patch of sunlight. Cats have achieved a status that human dictators have dreamed of for centuries. They are feared, they are adored, and these fluffy tyrants get away with absolutely everything. We live in the era of the feline cult, where the internet is overflowing with their faces, and the physical world is littered with their trophies. They are the perfect killing machines, thriving flawlessly in our jungles of concrete and glass. Next time your pet stretches out sweetly, offering its belly for a rub, remember, you are petting the apex of the food chain. If humanity vanished tomorrow, cats wouldn't even notice. They would just step over our bodies and go catch some birds. They have always been the ultimate predators, and to them, we are nothing but a brief episode in the service industry over their multi-millennial history. Which brings us to a very logical question. Who is the real master of this planet if we go to work every single day just so they can sleep 16 hours a day?